So our goal today is really to kind of dig into this list, pull out the interesting bits.
Yeah, give you a shortcut, basically. Understand what makes these specific stories stand out.
And hey, even if this isn't like your usual genre, there are some surprisingly creative ideas and character dynamics worth exploring.
For sure. All right, let's jump in. Never Die Extra.
Okay.
This one has a really bizarre setup. Imagine getting reincarnated, but not as the hero. You're like a totally unimportant side character in a huge fantasy game, Demon War 3.
Okay, an extra.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the kicker, this character, Evan D. Sheridan, his death is actually a highlight for the game devs. They like celebrate how graphic and epic his death scene is.
Wow, that's dark. So it's this meta-narrative thing happening.
Yeah, seems like it.
So the whole story is his quest to survive against that. Against his own code, essentially.
Pretty much. The creators are Toy Car, Studio Zilpung, and Tetsubi Meguri. Genres action, adventure.
And how long is it?
60 chapters, and it's marked complete. Over on Anime Planet, it's got a 3.6 out of 5. So, respectable.
Okay, interesting start. What's number 8?
Number 8 is Demon King of the Royal Class. This one also plays with some meta ideas. The author of a really popular novel called The Demon King is Dead. He dies.
Okay.
And he gets a choice. Go to hell or reincarnate into his own story.
Huh. Okay, easy choice, right. Reincarnation.
You'd think, except he ends up as Bellier Jr., who is this really weak demon prince whose kingdom just got destroyed.
Oh, so not exactly the power fantasy he might have written.
Not at all. And then it gets weirder. This weak demon prince somehow gets enrolled in a top-tier human school, the Gradius Temple. In their royal class, no less. So he's got to survive in this totally hostile environment, surrounded by the kind of people his original character probably, fought against.
Okay, that sounds like it could be both action-packed and pretty funny. Creators are Goljengi S. and Rana Poo.
Right. It's action, fantasy. 80s chapters, listed as complete or ended, and a 4.0 rating on Anime Planet.
A solid score. All right, moving on. Number 7.
Number 7, Off to an Invisible Start. This one, sounds a bit more straightforward at first, maybe, but with a twist.
Okay.
Our main guy, Chen Chang'an, bam, transported to a fantasy world. He gets a perk, an invincibility field.
Yeah.
Basically, as long as he stays inside this bubble, nothing can hurt him. Guaranteed survival.
Huh. Okay, that's a pretty good perk. So he goes out adventuring, but super safely.
Well, that's the funny part. His reaction is kind of lazy. He just decides to chill in his invincibility field and try to become immortal that way. And while he's just kind of wandering around his safe zone, bored, he accidentally starts like taking down monsters he can't even be harmed by.
Yeah.
And ends up raising these super powerful disciples without really trying.
Accidental world shaping through sheer invulnerable boredom. I kind of love that.
Right. It's got action, adventure, drama, fantasy listed, 118 chapters. One catch, though, it's listed as suspended currently.
Okay. Shame. Still a 4.0 on Anime Planet, though.
Yeah. And it makes you think, doesn't it, about agency in these stories. He's not actively trying to change things, but he is, just by being there and being bored.
It's a different spin on the power fantasy, for sure. Passive power. Okay, what's number 6?
Number 6 is Four Cut Hero.
Sounds good. What's the premise?
The Demon King is already toast. Done. Our hero Zed beat him. Now he's trying to live a normal life.
Ah, the retired hero problem. What does adventure look like after the ultimate adventure?
Exactly. The humor comes from him struggling to adjust. He ends up taking like really mundane quests and jobs. Sounds like perfect comedy fuel.
Yeah, I can see that.
And they also praise the supporting cast. It's not all about Zed and potential love interests. They mention characters like Dial, Xena, Daru being well developed on their own.
That's always a plus, especially in this genre. Gives the world more depth.
For sure. The creator is Gojira-kun. Genres are action, comedy, fantasy, and romance.
Makes sense.
It's got a good run to 257 chapters, and it's complete. Also a 4.0 on Anime Planet.
Nice. Seems like a solid recommendation. Okay, number 5.
Number 5 takes a bit of a turn. Dark Star Emperor.
Oh, how so?
A rather raunchy tale of reincarnation.
Okay, raunchy. Got it.
So, our main character, Su Xiaobai, dies from an illness but gets reincarnated in another world. Pretty standard so far. He inherits the soul and this immense power, the infinity of darkness, from the strongest human ever, a guy named Long Ming.
Okay, so he's super powerful. What's the catch? Or the raunchy part?
The catch is unique. He experiences severe pain whenever he gets an erection.
Oh, wow, okay. That's certainly a drawback.
Right. And the only way to stop the pain is to find the person who killed the original owner of the power, Longming, and then take the throne himself.
So his epic quest is motivated by constant potential agony. That's definitely memorable.
Yeah, it's tagged action fantasy. It's ongoing, 260 chapters currently, and has a 3.5 rating on Anime Planet. Creators are Shipping Kui and Chuan Ye.
Okay. Definitely a different flavor there. What's next? Top 4 now.
Into the top 4. Number 4 is I Am the Fated Villain.
Ooh, fated villain. Sounds intriguing.
The premise sounds gloriously chaotic.
Yeah?
Gu Change gets transmigrated into a fantasy world.
Yeah, as the hero.
Nope, as the villain, the destined bad guy.
Okay, interesting twist.
And it gets better. The world's actual hero already hates his guts and wants revenge, for reasons Gu Change doesn't even know yet.
So he just pops into existence as the villain, target already on his back. That's rough.
But here's the other twist. Gu Change quickly figures out he's way, way more powerful than pretty much anyone else, including the hero.
Ah, so an overpowered villain.
Exactly. And he finds this system, like a game system almost, that seems designed specifically to help him be the villain, to fulfill that destiny.
Wow, so it's exploring being forced into that role, but then finding the power and maybe even leaning into it, playing against type, but maybe finding that type fits.
Seems like it. The creator is listed just as fated villain. Genres are action, adventure, drama, fantasy. It's ongoing. 246 chapters. Pretty high.
Yeah.
4.2 on Anime Planet. People seem to dig the villain protagonist angle.
Yeah, it definitely fits the script. Okay, number 3.
Number 3, how to use a returner.
Returner, like someone who's been there before.
Exactly. So our protagonist, Ganyang, gets summoned to this really harsh, like hellish survival world. And his stats, the absolute worst. Rock bottom.
Bad start. So he's basically doomed.
Not quite. He has one key ability. He can read other people's stats. He can see their potential, their history.
Ah, information is power, especially when you have none yourself.
Right. And then he meets Hansung. Hansung is a returner, someone who lived through this world, died, and came back to the start.
Okay, so Hansung knows what's coming. He's valuable.
Extremely valuable. And Gi Young, being smart, but maybe not entirely ethical, he sees Hansung as his ticket, not just to survive, but to thrive.
How so? Like manipulating him?
He wants to basically use Hansung, keep him close, leverage his knowledge to build an ideal life for himself. Creators are Hik Sujio and Midnight Studio.
Genres?
Action, adventure, fantasy. Ongoing, 133 chapters. And it's got a 4.1 rating on Anime Planet.
Strong rating again. Okay, down to the final 2. Number 2.
Number 2 is webtoon character Na Kang Lim. Apparently it's great at parodying harem tropes, making fun of the cliches, but still telling a really satisfying story.
That's a tough balance to strike. What's the actual plot?
Okay, this is where it gets unique. Na Kang Lim is a massive fan of this one webtoon. He loves the heroine. Suddenly, his favorite webtoon heroine just appears in the real world. And there's a massive catch. If either Na Kang Lim or the heroine dies, time resets back to the beginning of that day.
A time loop. Triggered by death. That adds some serious stakes.
Totally. And it gets crazier. As things go on, more and more characters from that webtoon start showing up in reality too.
Okay, that sounds like chaotic fun.
Characters are likable and big, plus it's a complete story with a decent ending.
Always good to hear. Complete story. Who made it?
Creators are Gyangmin Lee and Jun Hyuk Song. Genres: comedy, romance, supernatural. 172 chapters complete.
And the rating must be good if it's number 2.
Yep, 4.2 on Anime Planet, tied with Fated Villain.
Makes sense. Okay, so what snagged the top spot? Number 1.
Girls of the Wilds.
Girls of the Wilds. Okay, what's the setting?
It's set at Wilds Private High School. This is an elite, all-girls high school, famous for martial arts.
All-girls martial arts school. Sounds intense.
Yeah, they have this big tournament, the Wilds League, and it's ruled by the strongest fighter, known as the Queen.
Okay, so where does the harem part come in? Or the protagonist?
Well, the school decides to make a huge change. They're going to start accepting male applicants. For the first time ever, our protagonist, Song Jae-gu, is the only guy who applies. And somehow he gets a full scholarship.
The lone boy in an elite all-girls martial arts academy. Okay, I see the setup.
But it sounds like it's not an easy ride. He has a rough start, realizes the school is basically a battlefield. He has to learn to survive, physically and socially.
Especially with the Queen probably not being too thrilled about a guy showing up.
Exactly. His first encounter with her is apparently pretty intense, sets the tone for his whole school life.
So it blends high school drama with serious action. Who are the creators?
Kim Hae-jin and Hun. Genres listed are action, comedy, drama, and romance. It's another long one, 260 chapters, and it's complete.
And the rating for number 1?
A 4.0 on Anime Planet. Solid score. These stories can appeal way beyond just dedicated harem fans. If you're into fantasy or action or comedy or even just interesting character studies.
There's clearly a lot of creative energy going into these manhwa.
Definitely. And, it makes you think, these stories, even the wilder ones, they often touch on bigger things, don't they?
Like
Questions about identity. Who are you when you're thrown into a new world or a new role? How do you handle relationships when they're complicated? How do you just navigate weird social situations?
That's a great point. Even amidst the fantasy and comedy, there are relatable human struggles. Finding your place, dealing with expectations, figuring out connections.
Exactly. So maybe looking at these, even if they seem niche, can tell us something broader. Perhaps this dive has made you curious to actually check one of these out.
Could be. Lots to explore there.
Well, thanks for digging into this list with us.